Check, check. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. Oh, hell yeah, brah. That's me doing a whatever it's called, snap check or something, snap check or something. I don't know. Hi guys. Hi Patreoners. Hello. How are you? Let's gab. Let's chat. Let's gab. Um, Thank you, first of all, for being there for me and for doing a Patreon. And I hope you've had the chance to check out my special. I hope you've watched it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Um, like I keep saying, it's a very unique experience. It's different from what I would say your classic stand up special is because it's you know, all improvised, so it's a little rough around the edges, and it's very much unrehearsed. So it's not your typical setup punchline, tag 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 kind of thing. It's very much just a meandery. It's a one woman show, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I wonder if it moved you. Let me know if it moved you at any point, because this might just be me because I'm the one. Well, yeah, since I'm the one experiencing what I'm talking about, and since those emotions are very real to me, like I do look upon that, especially the part about my roommate and best friend Steven, and the part where I like actually cry on stage, it made me cry every time I watched it because I do still I do feel still I understand that feeling. I communicated it well enough that me as a viewer was able to resonate still with that very real feeling. And of course, it would be easier to resonate with myself having, knowing that feeling and having been there identically. I don't have to empathize because it's literally me. But I sure hope that the way I conveyed it resonates in some way or is moving to any viewer who watched it in some way. I hope it comes across for you in some sense like it did for me. Even though I was the one who experienced. Well, what the fuck am I trying to say? I'm just trying to say, if I conveyed it well enough to move myself, then I hope I conveyed it well enough to move you and for you to feel something. I just want to make you feel something. And by extension, me to feel something by making you feel something. You know? I want to make you laugh. And in that special, part of me, I mean, I don't want to make you cry. That's not necessarily the case. I want to make you feel. I want to make you feel your humanity. I want to make you think a little bit. I want to make you see me. If that makes sense. I really, really, I think that's it. That recording that the week of my FFS and the whole part of the show that I talk about, every special being a snapshot of a person in that moment in time. And, you know, that, yeah, like that special being, the goal being conveying myself in this moment in time, this snapshot. I suppose in the end, the goal was just to be seen and held and acknowledged. Is this going to be distracting? I'm not even, I'm not even watching and it's distracting. There we go. Uh, yeah. So I hope you guys like it. I hope it's good. I hope you like it. I may. I'm still debating between opening it up to the general public or just leaving it on my Patreon, because while it would be nice to share it more broadly, I don't know. I welcome your input. While it would be nice to share it more broadly, I think it's an intimate show, and I don't necessarily want it to be people's first impressions of me. But then again, I can't really manage that. And I think that in 2025, it's all about quantity, and people get access to you. People find you in so many different ways. So it doesn't make sense to try to control that, especially when you have like a wealth of content, especially stuff that you believe in, to show people. So I'm just kind of talking it out. But I think I will eventually put it out for people to watch in public. And here's the thing, man. I am a terrible promoter. I am awful at promoting and marketing myself, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going on this tour, and I don't know how to put butts in seats. I don't know how to film anything that might be funny or good or will convince people to come. I don't know how often to post it so that I'm not being annoying. I don't know where. I don't know how effectively. I just don't know. And I'm trying. I'm sure these are all things you can learn. I'm sure they are. I don't know. Maybe this all comes in time and you learn over time. It sure would be nice to learn. I feel like I put in the time. All things being the same, I put in the time. Why haven't I learned? Oh my God. I need to be more active and proactive, maybe, in the learning process, I suppose. It's all part of the fear that I'm not doing it right. I'm not doing any of it right. I'm really not doing any of it right. Whatever. Yeah. None of it. Oh, well. Speaking of people getting access to you in so many different ways and not being able to control for it, I got invited to be on a panel for a show called Dr. Daz. Dr. Dar, D-A-R, I think. I don't know. Hardly relevant, because it was a ripoff of Jubilee. God, the way it was formatted, the way the stage, the set was set up. This happened today, either today or yesterday. A casting agent from this YouTube channel that films in LA asked if I would be a panelist, a speaker on a debate show. Actually, he was he never revealed any details, which now in retrospect probably seems deliberate. And so I asked, they're filming on a day that I'm out on tour, so it was an easy no anyways. It was an automatic no. And I never heard of these people before, so I asked, can you send me a clip or something of the show so I can get a sense of who you guys are? And he sent me a link to, and it's a Jubilee ripoff. It's a Jubilee ripoff show with 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And the video was trans women versus conservative women. And it was called like something so close to Common Ground. It was like a 1-to-1 knockoff of Jubilee, where with like this sort of black void and these four people sitting in four chairs and opposed to each other. Trans women on the left, conservative women on the right. And they are sitting across from each other, and they get a prompt, a question: trans women do not belong in sports. And then they each hold a little sign that's either green thumb up or red thumb down, whether they agree or disagree with the statement. And then a discussion ensues. And it's like, and I recognize some of these people on it. I recognize, I'll just say it. Fuck it. You're my Patreoners. You're my exclu. But there's a woman on the trans panel named Blossom. And I've seen her on a few Jubilee videos. I've seen her pop up on my social media every once in a while. And God, I hate to say it and I hate to use this language, but she's hysterical and she's obnoxious. And I feel like, you know, you absolutely need like black trans women representation on these things. But she's just not good at discoursing with people. She talks over them. She's belligerent. And I get that these are emotionally rousing conversations, and it is extremely difficult not to take defense and not to get offended, because some of these people are assholes. And that's the thing on the right side of things, on the conservative side of things. I didn't watch for long, but I recognized one of them. Her name is Emily, and she's this super toxic, like, provocateur, like right wingers are. They're provocateurs. They're fucking grifters who are just outrage mills, and so, like, it's just not a healthy combination. And I know these people are good for views because they elicit a strong response, typically of scorn and outrage, of people being like, God, this person's insufferable. Or if they get dunked on because they responded far too emotionally for this setting. And so I've been thinking about this all day. And it's like, while on the one hand, I should probably be saying yes to opportunities like these when I'm not working, of course. But only if they pay for my, like, travel and accommodations, and only if they pay my way. Like, no way am I paying out of pocket. That's exploitative. If you're going to have me on your video, you pay me to be on your video. Not giving that shit away for free. Not giving away my dignity for free. Because that's also the thing, is more than usual, that's a real question. That's like, what is my dignity worth? Because, God, my head swims at the offer of something like this. Because a lot of my friends, I've told a few people, and a few people have been like, while on the one hand, some people were like, yeah, the shows like those are really pretenders. They pretend to care about discourse, and they pretend to care about a common ground, but truthfully they don't. And I absolutely see that and agree with it. Like, these people aren't trying to patch things up. They're exploiting people's anger and dehumanization in favor of clicks. That's all they're after. And I'm sure that would be proven by how much they would offer me to fly me down there and whatever. But then on the other hand, I had like one of my trans friends be like, if she's like, I believe that you would be a good representative. I believe that you would perform well on those things. And he would offer a very humanizing, level headed opinion. But what I worry about is I don't have a set of facts. I have my own anecdotal experience and I can draw on that. But when it comes to like existential debate, I don't know how to navigate that with somebody who cares about things that I don't. You know? Like if on the other side they were to produce any sort of claim like trans women are more likely to abuse somebody in a washroom, I would be like, my gut tells me I don't believe you, but also I don't have access to the facts right now. And I believe that you're bullshitting, but I'm not confident enough to speak in ignorance. And so it becomes a game of whoever in this panel is in the most comfortable state to speak out of ignorance. It's really just a matter of who can speak most confidently despite not knowing things. And I would rather take people at their word. I would rather have an honest conversation with people who aren't about to spout bullshit just to provoke me or to dehumanize me or make me look foolish or to get a fucking clip out of this, to get a dunk out of this. And maybe I would need to like adjust my goal going into this. Maybe I need to go in there with barbed wire boxing gloves on, armed with my wit, and maybe I just need to be there to roast the other side and to play and to be a comedian so that I can fucking suck comedian fans out of this thing, because it would be good exposure. But also but that comes at a cost, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And the cost would be subjecting myself to I find these debates unfruitful. I find them tiresome. I find them exploitative, like I just said. And I think we're always debating the wrong fucking things. I think things are much simpler in my mind than all of these people make them out to be. Like, what is a woman is a combination of many things. And sure, biology has a lot to do with it. But then so does, like, if it was only biology, then passing in public wouldn't make a difference. Like, if a trans woman stealthily passed in society as she has since she was a teen or whatever, and she seamlessly goes into whatever bathroom she wants and nobody would ever know, then clearly that indicates that it isn't just biology, that she has successfully assimilated herself into society based on her outward projection of this binary gender performance. And so we do have to take that into account. And we would have to take that into account both ways, to be honest, where it's like, sure, I while on the one hand, I do believe in taking people at their word. And if somebody says that they're trans, if somebody comes out as a trans woman, I'm inclined to believe that they are what they say they are. Because what kind of life would it be always doubting something like that? And who am I to doubt somebody who says what they are? But then again, I can acknowledge that for some people, it might be, some people with trauma, it might be scary that somebody who doesn't accomplish that seamless gender performance in their mind might intimidate them. However, again, back to flip the other way, at what point is that just prejudice? And at what point are you presuming ill intent of this person who is just trying to represent femininity or womanhood the best that they can with the traits that they've inherited? So how can I communicate everything that I just communicated? How can I effectively communicate that in a fucking gotcha clip with a panel of 3 of my peers who would probably disagree with some points that I made there, or take issue with something, or interrupt me if I, heaven forbid, I paused to gather my next thought, or any of the 4 screaming fucking Republicans that I'd be sitting across from who would jump on the fact that I would even dare take somebody at their word, or who would hear my voice and disqualify me entirely from the start. So, and I do find their lack of transparency. I know it's just initial contact. The casting director for something like this, I know it's initial contact, and it's just availability. Are you available this day? Because if you're not, then we don't need to have a whole discussion about the show. But I do, yeah, I am suspicious of anyone who would in any way obscure the nature of the show, you know? And I have a feeling that they would probably give me some bullshit mission statement, as Jubilee does, where they're like, we're here to connect people, and we're here to find a common ground, and we're here to have good, robust, honest discussion with each other, even though that is not at all what they did or have been doing for a while. They are cheerleaders. They set the table for fascism. They helped. That responsibility is, I put that on not just Jubilee, of course, but media like them. It's like I keep saying, they invited a Pyro to a party. They invited a Pyro to a potluck. You know? First time you invent... This is... Okay. I'll do the whole thing. But, Jubilee, the YouTube channel, in case you don't know who I'm talking about, they do a lot of political discourse in the spirit of common ground and discourse and conversation and truth. It's really stretching the meaning of the word. But they, metaphorically, let's say you're having a potluck, and normally, and not a lot of people come. You try to invite a lot of people, but not a lot of people show up. And then finally, one of your friends is like, why don't we invite Gary? He's a fun guy. He's a little crazy. He's a little nuts. He's a little batshit. And you're like, didn't he just get out of jail? And your friend's like, yeah, but like, I don't know. He's a party animal, bro. Livens up a party. And you're like, all right, maybe once I'll invite Gary. And Gary shows up, and he lights a napkin on fire. Goes up in smoke, and everyone goes, huh, whoa, man, wow. And then they all go home, And they remember the party. Cause that one guy, he lit a napkin on fire. And wasn't that kooky? Wasn't that a little weird? That guy was really kooky. Wow. Ava throws a nice party. I'll go to the next one. That was interesting and fun. And Gary has sort of contributed a small part to what made the party interesting. So, knowing this, I invite him back. Come on back to the next potluck, Gary. You don't have to bring anything. Just bring your charming self. And he brings a fucking Zippo lighter and more flammable materials. Then he lights another thing on fire on my countertop. He lights my fucking gnome. And it's like, wow, what a performance. Now more people are coming to my potluck slowly because they hear about this guy who's like an absolute nut, an out of control weirdo, and like what a spectacle this guy provides. And before you know it, the apartment's on fire. The whole fucking unit has blown up. He's lit fire to my couch and it's spread everywhere. And now, and because he invited 5 more of his fucking Pyro friends, and things are out of control. America, you are on fire because people like Jubilee kept inviting a pyromaniac thinking he made your party interesting, and now he's spread his stupid fucking flames, his fascist flames, and all of his buddies have shown up and have just spread this garbage, this destructive fucking garbage. You can't invite a pyro to a party, and that's what this Dr. Daz or whatever the fuck, you know, maybe I'm being ungenerous, maybe I need to watch the video, but like I really... God, maybe I do need to step into the ring. I just resent the idea that I would have to participate in any of that. Because it's mudslinging. And then it's clips. People clip all kinds of shit that could be humiliating for you. Maybe I just need to not be so self-protective. But I don't appreciate the way these clips are so decontextualized. And I like to gather, even though I talk fast on my podcast, and when I'm being silly, I talk real fast. And I'm a motor mouth and I let it go. But like in a actual discourse, in an actual discussion, I like to take my time and I like to be a little bit more thoughtful. So heaven forbid I pause for too long. I'm going to get talked over. I'm going to get clipped out for looking like a fucking idiot. You see so many clips of somebody saying something, and then if there's even a tiny pregnant moment of silence while their responder gathers their thoughts, there you go, there's a clip. You just got fucking owned. They end the clip before you've been able to give a thoughtful reply. I just think none of it's healthy, and I resent having to participate in any of it. I don't want to participate in any of it. Get me off this ride, man. But maybe I do have to. And my friends are telling me that I would be good and I would contribute. Because it is true. I look at people like Blossom and I'm like, there's got to be better. Every time I watch Jubilee and it's like a trans women debate, I'm like, God, I wish we had better representatives. But not me. I never once thought I would be that person. Not me. Don't put me in there. I'm just as bad as they are. I wish I had enough bandwidth to remember facts and stuff, but also at the same time, everyone has a different set of facts. I think that's also the truth, is we live in a post-truth society where everyone has a different set of facts. And so everyone is so staunch in their beliefs because they believe that the things that they believe are empirically proven and statistical. Maybe I shouldn't be so fatalistic and cynical. But maybe it'll give me an opportunity to go down to America to really see what the climate is like down there. Because up here in Canada, we're kind of staving off fascism. We're kind of still doing okay. And trans people are not such a crazy, stormy discussion, at least in Ontario and of course Toronto where I live. But yeah, in Alberta it's becoming a thing. Saskatchewan, I think. It is kind of spreading. All right. Yeah. How long do I hold on to my principles? Is what I want to know. I want to be funny and I want to represent and I want full control of my own voice. I think that's also the thing is like my stand up, I get to say what I want to say. Nobody's shutting me down, nobody's clipping me, decontextualizing me. I am in full control of my opinions and the way I'm represented is completely conveyed by me. I am in control of it at all times. Nobody's editing my words. Nobody's able to twist them. And that control, I believe, isn't a luxury. I think it's a right. Well, maybe it's the privilege of being a comedian. But it's a privilege that I would like to hang on to. Thank you very much. Because as a comedian, our opinions are they're all we have, you know? And if we don't have full control over our opinions, then we do lose our power. Just look at all the comedians who went to Riyadh. They lost a lot of their legitimacy by going there. A lot of them can't claim to be free speech warriors anymore because they performed for like a regime that doesn't stand for that sort of thing. You know? Anyways, this is a very serious episode. This is very personal, very serious. I got asked by a man today, what kind of content do you put out on the exclusive platforms, your exclu Instagram and your exclu Patreon? And I was like, oh, not sexual. I know you're asking. Don't pretend like you're not. And it's fine. I'm not judging, but it's not sexual. I mean, I did untuck. I did untuck for this video. I was tucked for the podcast that I just did. And I did untuck for this, but I'm not going to let you look. This is just but if you see it, then good on you. You've earned it. But the exclusive stuff is a closer look into my brain and my thoughts, and this is the best I can provide. It's an unfiltered look into the way that I think, and I can't be silly goose all of the time, but I'll try to be now. I've been listening to I've unlocked. I learned how to use my French press today to make a coffee because I was finding it really hard to focus, but I did it. I am so hot. And also, you know what's made it very easy to focus is classical music and piano music in general. Soft, delicate piano music is very good for my focus. And classical music as well. Love me some Mozart. Mozart helps me focus. And coffee definitely really locked me in. And piano music. But it also makes me sad. But I'm recovering from the weekend and I'm feeling better. But my dad's in the hospital. I mean, not anymore. Now he's home. But I won't dwell on this. I'll just mention this really quickly and move on. But time is a bitch. Time is such a motherfucker. You know, the advice that I give is that time Time is so powerful. And like, whether it's stand-up comedy or transition, in my experience, time, you will, after a certain amount of time, you will look back on all the progress that you've made. And if you stay consistent, and if you put one foot in front of the other, and you just stay diligent and focused and consistent, then time will take care of the rest. And I've been proven right. I wish I wish I could accomplish more in the time that I've been given, but my life is a slow and steady wins the race. And I'm not even really winning, but I'm doing okay, I guess. Yeah, I'm doing okay. But it's been, when you're in your 30s, what's wonderful, this is speaking from personal experience, when you're in your 30s and you're like really, really locking into who you are and discovering yourself and gaining this proficiency in your skills and your talents, and you're making progress in your life and your identity and your confidence, like and if you're so lucky, you'll also have a good, robust social group around you by that point. Because, like, by your 30s, again, speaking personally, you've made a lot of friends and you've got a strong network. I don't want to speak on anyone's behalf, and if this is not the case for you, please don't take it personally. This is not an indictment of what you've accomplished in your life and where you're at. I'm speaking solely for myself. I should stop speaking so generally. But as my life has gone, in my life, the 30s is where I've discovered myself and have really blossomed and am found my voice, which is so valuable to me. It's everything. I've found my voice and I'm confident and I'm happy. Things could be better, but I'm happy. And I'm happy with who I am. And all of that took time. And so, and not only that, but I have everyone around me. I'm lucky enough that I haven't experienced a lot of death. I think that's also what I'm getting at, is I have the luxury. It's a luxury of, and a privilege of not having endured a lot of the pain and agony of loss in my life. Wow. I'm really lucky. Really, really lucky in that sense. So, once again, I'm not generalizing. And so I'm in this, I was in this blissful decade of self-discovery and growth and no loss. But I'm now coming to realize the mortality of some of the people around me. And that while time has been on my side, it is now not so much on some other people's. And by extension, I feel that. And time is not on my side by extension. And so my dad is aging. And I'm only now starting to think about that. I mean, I thought about it. But my dad was always a rock. My dad was always an athlete. So every time he complained about, like, I'm not as fit as I used to be, and it just annoys me how I get gassed quicker, I get out of breath sooner, and I can't do the things I used to do anymore. And he would grumble, and it would be like, yeah, but you're still jacked, man. And we're still snowboarding. Me and my dad going on snowboard trips. So it wasn't real to me. It was just like, yeah, but you'll always be a champ. You'll always snowboard with me. Oh, God. And now I'm learning that he won't. And he's aging. So life is a beautiful thing. And I love my dad a lot. But he's getting older. And time comes for us all. I've been wielding time as this magical, positive force. And now, in the matter of a week, it really rocked my world to see that it is everything. It's not just a beautiful force of growth. It's a terrible force of decay. But there's something also beautiful about that. It's just, this is the circle of life. It's everything. It makes everything so precious. I hope I'm not bothering you guys. I hope this isn't bumming you out. I'm kind of processing right in front of you. I wasn't planning on this. And I'm okay. The snowboarding thing almost got me. But I want to choose to see the beauty in all things. And the circle of life is one of those things. I just hope I get a lot more time with my dad. Yeah. Let's talk about a couple more things and then I'll go. Yeah. I hope I didn't bum you guys out. Tell the people you love that you love them while you still have the time. Haha. Because you don't have as much as you think you do. Well, I had a lot. And I took advantage. I am very vocal about loving the people that I love. I can be a little avoidant at times, but the people I love sure fucking know. They know. And that makes me very proud. The people I love know I love them. Don't be afraid to tell them right now. Do it. Pause. Shoot somebody a message. Do me a favor. Do that. Do me a favor and do that. Pause. Shoot somebody a message. Anybody. First person that comes to mind. And tell them that you're thinking about them. You don't have to say I love you if you don't want to, if you don't feel ready for it. Because telling somebody that you're thinking about them is a beautiful, subtle, subversive way. A sneaky, between the lines way of telling somebody that you love them. It's nice being thought of. How do we all know we exist? I think, therefore I am? Or is it, you think of me, therefore I am? I suppose, like, none of us... you know what? I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but, like, the fact that everyone needs to, like, broadcast some sense of self. Very rarely nowadays do you experience people who aren't on some form of social media. And sure, to different extents, people will put themselves out there and show themselves. And some people are much more private than others, and good on ya. Good for you for managing that and maintaining a social media diet that's healthy for you. I totally applaud it. But I'm encountering less and less people who do that, and I'm finding with more and more of my friends that a lot of them are like have been saying I really should post more. I should do more on my Instagram. And it's like you really don't. But it's made me think that identity and a sense of self, like what I think social media has changed our existentialism, all of us, to the point where, like, how do you know you exist if you're not being viewed? How do you know you exist if you don't broadcast to an audience, if you don't have an audience to broadcast to? I think that is the new perception of human existence. Because ever since I learned that, like, I don't know, this was more than a decade ago, but I learned that, like, the number one dream job of kids at a certain age, 13 or something, was like YouTuber or social media influencer. And I think that's incredibly telling. And I'm sure that the next generation, like, only believes that. I'm sure they have incredibly wrapped up self-esteem issues wrapped into, like, am I worthy, or do I even exist if I don't exist virtually? Which is crazy. That, like, in person, in flesh, almost seems to matter less and doesn't compare value-wise to your metrics, your virtual metrics. And trust me, I'm saying this from the nucleus of the battleground, from the nucleus from the eye of the storm, from the eye of the social media self-esteem storm. Wow, this episode was super fucking brainy and existentialist and not at all funny. It's kind of like a flip of a coin at this point. Podcast was fun. I had fun doing it. I'm gonna okay, all right, let's do it. Let's end on something funny. I do want to tell this story. Yeah, and I might tell it again at some point because it's so funny. But I think about sometimes I really on the note that I've been saying, like, I really don't feel like I post enough. And that's one other thing that constantly plagues me and worries me, because I'm always trying to, like, I got a career to manage, and I'm trying to juggle so many balls and keep so many plates spinning, booking tours and blah blah blah, and special and editing, and I'm a one woman goddamn machine. I'm doing it all myself. And on top of that, like, the requirement to write and film and edit and post things on the regular all the time with polish and panache and pizzazz and with a hook that with strategy that hooks people immediately as soon as they tune in, as soon as you pop up on their screen. And I don't post enough. Where was I going with this? Oh, and sometimes I worry that, like, I've lost my creativity. You know, that's always a concern. It's a paranoia. But my kookiness and my cleverness and my absurdity. Because when I think about that, I remember in grade 10 physics, we were given a project that was, I think, purposely vague. That was like, pick a bunch of subjects, and I think it was a video project, actually, which was interesting for a physics class that he would require us to do. I think it was some kind of multimedia themed thing. He was like, creatively get across some of these topics. And myself and three other guys who weren't great students, I was the best of the bunch. I brought in the best marks. No? Well, there was four of us, and it was me and one other guy, and then the other two guys were like pothead burnouts who hated the teacher and were struggling to pass. But we were all friends at the time. And I wonder what they would think of me now. And we did this video, a series of sketches. Is my heater still on? That's why it's so fucking hot in here. We did a series. I'm going to turn it off. Oh, yeah, I wonder if that changes the sound at all. We did a series of sketches about different phenomena of sound, I believe. I think it was of sound, like the way it bounces around walls and the speed of sound. And I remember, I think about this fondly because it's truly inspired by Monty Python and my undying fandom for Monty Python. It was a sketch where it was like, and we filmed this in the dead of winter in Whitby, Ontario, outside of Toronto, and it was blizzarding. There was a huge snowfall, and it was like 1.5 feet, 2 feet of snow over the field at our high school with like after hours. We filmed this when it was still on a weekend, when it was still light out. And the sketch was, this was a broadcast of a race. And it was like, here we have the fastest man in the world, Vyacheslav Kornichov. We made up some Russian name because the guy playing looked so Russian. These were really Russian guys. And the sketch was the fastest man in the world had challenged the speed of sound to a race. Just the speed of sound. And we had positioned him. We were standing on like one side widthwise of the football field, and there was the width of the field and then the bleachers and then a walkway that a couple cars could drive through, and then the wall of our high school all the way there. And the sketch was, and we were like, and here it is. Finally, the day has finally arrived. Vyacheslav is going to race the speed of sound, the fastest man in the world, and we're going to see who is faster. His claim is that he's faster than the speed of sound, and today we get to finally find out definitively if this is the case. And I remember a few things about this sketch was we were like, and now we're going to hear from his coach. And then it was a quick cutaway to one of the other students with just this stupid disguise, a bushy beard and a fur hat. And all he said was, he's going to win. And that was, he's going to win. And then we cut back and we're like, wow, such great resounding words from blah, blah, blah. It was so Monty Python-esque. So it's time for the race. And we're like, and on your mark, get set, go. And then the firing pistol goes off, and our Russian friend maybe gets barely 5 feet before you can hear on the sound equipment, like the sound of the gun comes back, echoes back from the open field and the wall. But now you have to watch our Russian friend run the entirety of the width of the football field and past the bleachers and past the walkway. We're like slowly zooming in on him as he goes, and he goes up and he slaps the wall, and then he turns around and runs all the way back. in the snow, and I think he was also shirtless for some godforsaken reason, or he was just wearing, like a track shirt and shorts. And at one point, I think he meant to do this. He really sacrificed his body. He flops down into the snow, he trips, and then he gets back up and he runs. And the whole time, I'm pretty sure I was the announcer. And the whole time I'm like ad-libbing as he's running the full, it's like 45 seconds plus, I'd imagine. I don't know if we sped it up, but so long of me being like, and the speed of sound is already 1, and he's barely even gotten 10 feet. And of course, speed of sound, extremely fast. This is quite a disappointing response from Vyacheslav. Hopefully, I wonder if it's his training. If the training, he did say that he ate far too much spaghetti before this race and blah, blah, blah. And like, it was just an exercise in me ad-libbing and filling the air with whatever comments I could think of while we watched my friend slowly, like painfully, sprint as hard as he could in the falling snow, slap the wall, run all the way back, and then when he crossed the finish line, it was just like, yes, you were defeated very quickly, and how do you feel, blah, blah, blah. And I can't remember the rest of it, but that sketch, I mean, once the premise lands, that's kind of it, and it's done. But it was really funny. It was awesome. That was so funny, and I miss it. I miss being that creative and thinking of something like that. I wish I could think of something like that, but it feels like I can't. I wonder sometimes if I peaked. Did I peak in high school? Did I peak? Did I peak in this video? Let me see, by the way. I've just all of a sudden become very curious if it's still filming. Yeah, we're still filming. Okay, good. Worried that it somehow stopped. But anyways, yeah, surely I can think of stuff. If I thought of stuff like that once, I can think of stuff like that again. And I have it in me if I just believe, So I'm going to choose to believe. Anyways, thank you guys for listening and watching, and thank you for enjoying. I hope that was a good deep dive. I hope you feel, something. Wow, we're coming full circle. All I hope is that you feel something when you listen to me. Not outrage. Anything but outrage. I'm bringing it all together, everything that I talked about. I hope when you watch me, you feel something. Usually it's mirth and merriment and joy, but I kind of just, my emotions in my brain didn't go there this time. And I hope that you feel appreciation that I would be still so honest and go to those places so willingly and so freely. And if that's how you feel, then great. Good. I don't want to tell you how to feel. I'm sorry if I did just now. But I hope you will also feel some appreciation for yourself. And maybe I hopefully gave you something to think about. And I hope it's not outrage, because that doesn't feel healthy or conducive. So, cool. Thanks, Patreoners. I adore you guys. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot. Have a good night and a good week and what have you. Just have a good one. And next time, I will be humorous. I'll make you feel something else. Boy, that sounded like a threat. That didn't sound too cool. I'll try not to completely gas myself on comedy right away on the podcast before I get to the Patreon, as it feels like I did. But I really wanted to talk about the thing. Anyways, you guys are the best. Have a good one. Thanks a lot. Bye. Bye. Thanks, guys. Bye.